Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. It feels like it's taking forever to actually create longer content, but here I am. Today, we're going to discuss what we should focus on to progress in the current patch if you are new or returning players. But first, let's bring out some exciting news from KL server. KL just announced the upcoming patch roadmap not long ago. You can check out the complete details on our Discord server or the official KL site of elsword. I do want to point out some key ones, like the summer QLL changes. So all the titles, I'm talking about including boss fight and raid titles, are going to be shareable. No more grinding on alts. Yay! Also, the annoying buff list is getting reworked too. And then there's a new pay-to-win system. Exclusive IBS slot, basically separating IBS accessories from the normal ones, so you can benefit more from IBS stuff. Then, new regions and raids are just around the corner. This time they are making growth stages or similar idea of the system into gear part. Looks like a new farming hill for our new gears. What is your opinion on the upcoming changes? Let me know comment below. Okay, now we are back in the business. But you know it. Before we start, make sure to check out our Discord server where there's a lot of people can help and discuss about the game. Follow and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Only 20% of you subscribe it? Come on. Make sure to turn on the little notification updates too. Rose and Lethea review is gonna be here soon. Make sure you don't wanna miss it. elsword dev team has definitely been trying to make your early game experience much better in recent patches. But I think a lot of you are still very confused when just start or even return to this game after 2-3 years or more. Well, I'm here to fix all this, wiping out your fog of confusion. I gotta say, the current stage of elsword is really new player friendly compared to a few years ago. The best thing is with Professor Fluff Guide they introduced it a while ago, with all the new progression they added to it, helping new players to enjoy the raid parts of this game faster, which is the core part of mid to end game of elsword. So, let's take a look what you should do when you start the game. Level 1 to 99 is basically what we call the Novice Village phase, where you can learn how your class works with basic understanding. And you don't really start playing this game until you reach Errand City and finishing your third job. But pay attention, you'll be solo leveling in this phase most of the time, but this phase won't take long to achieve. I did make some video about this part. Feel free to check it out. Professor Soft's where you should aim for next. You'll have access to it when you hit level 99. It takes a while to complete all 4 parts of it, but I'm sure it's worth the suffering. You'll get significant CP boost after finishing part 3 and part 4. With part 3, you get a full set of Reforged 18 Regal gears. If you are wondering which set you should choose, here's my suggestion. Crimson for DPS classes and Sage for support. These are the only 2 sets that are relevant for CP boost in the current state. And part 4 is where you get the plus 10 ME for your FOJ, and some permanent pieces for your masterclass accessory slots. But do pay attention, you won't get any raid weapons from Professor Foff guides, which means you do have to drop it manually when doing raids. But FOJ is pretty easy to drop in the current meta. I personally try acquire one within 2 weeks of clearing. You'll get 3 reset tickets every week upon clearing all kinds of raids, and you can reset your progress as much as possible, since they took off the limit of reset already. And then you should be able to enter mid-game phase, which I talked about this in other videos before, but let's briefly review a bit. So, you'll be starting to enter your first raid title forming phase, also getting the new raid weapon, VOS. Your current goal here is acquiring the weapon from clearing the raid weekly, and enhance the weapon. And the weapon comes with a growth system, which can enhance the power of your weapon by doing different quests. You basically live in birth rate in this phase. You get a lot of CP boosting from your VOS growth stage and one of the endgame title, Black and White, which is a very powerful title for both CP and damage amplifying. At this point, the game is still completely free to play. But meanwhile, you should be reaching towards 3 million CP with weekly enhancement quests and try to plus 10 or plus 11 to your VOS weapon. At this point is where you should start to think if you should invest a bit into your gear enhancement experience. Let the RNG god decide your F2P fate. If you're a returning player, you probably heard of Punch events, which is an event that helps you rapidly build up a raid ready character. It's kinda like the deluxe version of Professor Quests. It happens roughly every 6 months, but KOG is keep giving us punch event back to back recently, so you can take advantage of it if you see one for sure. If you're struggling to scale your CP, feel free to post your current setting to our CP checking channel on Discord, so we can give you a suggestion and advices for CP building, so join us now. At this point, you have already experienced 90% of this game already. You know that entering endgame raids like Abyss is just how you build up gear and ERP for entering high tier content. So, let me briefly talk about this phase. Next up, you'll be doing Program Outskirt for reloading your artifact additional set effects. There are 2 choices of the set majorly used in current meta. Green set for support classes, yellow for DPS. You can check for which ideal set you want to go for on our Discord server. Then you should have access to Trend-Out region, where you can acquire the current endgame set, Tannin Gear. This set is a bit complex to discuss in this video, but you can find the related info in our server. So your goal here is basically getting your VOS plus 11 and enhancing your Tannin Gear to help reaching 5 million CP and beyond. Also, don't forget your ERP farming, we need that for sure. If you're at 5 million CP, then congrats! You have entered the endgame phase in elsword. The rest of the content is basically an add-on or preparation for the new raids that's coming later this year. It's all about farming and enhancement at this point, no matter it's about Abyss title or weapon drops. So in conclusion, you basically can decide whether you want to stay for farming phase or just chill for birth phase. Farming takes heavy part in this game, like many other Korean MMORPGs. You either hate it or join it. At the end of the day, if a game can bring you joy, then why should you play it, right? But I do have a suggestion if you just start to play this game. Always start with support tier class for progressions. You will have a much easier life if you want to hit the endgame phase of elsword. You can either decide to job change to the other path later on, or just take all the resources and bank share to your other character that you want to invest. elsword is not a game that you can rush in a week, or even a month. A lot of endgame progress is time gated, so having a nice community to back you up and figure stuff out would make for a much better gaming experience. I do want to share this image to recap your beginner progress. You can find the HD version in our server. Once again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll bring up more contents very soon. See you all in the next video.